Hey, TCC, wanted to answer one of our question cards. It was submitted to us a couple weeks ago. How can God be jealous when it's wrong for me to be? What a great question, and probably one that speaks to the difference between a creator God and his creatures. And so first, I think it's important for us to recognize that when we use words like jealous, we've got a limited vocabulary. It's difficult for us to fully capture what is intended in that. And let me give you an example of that. When we talk about jealousy, some days we're jealous and sometimes we're not jealous. Well, the different characteristic of God in Malachi 3:6, he says, "For I, the Lord, do not change." And so God isn't more jealous one day and less jealous another day, or jealous based on his circumstances. In fact, when we talk about God's jealousy, it's an eternal characteristic of God. And so we need to understand, well, what does that characteristic then look like? If you look at Deuteronomy 5:8, this is where God describes it. He says, "You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord, your God, am a jealous God." You see, God's jealousy has to do with our rebellion, our affections that have been skewed or stolen from him. You see, our jealousy is really rooted in our coveting. We read this in Exodus 20:17. He says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's." And so we have this sin that is coveting. We want something that we do not have. And so in response to that, we have two things. We either envy, we wish that we were that person, and so then we would have their possessions for our own, or we become jealous of them and we become rivalrous. We want bad for them so that we can then have what they have. And so our root of jealousy is based on coveting something that is not ours, does not belong to us, and we have no right over it. On the other hand, God is our creator. We are his possession. Anything that we do that drags us away from God is stealing us from God. And so God is jealous in that he wants us. He wants our desires. He wants our affections. He wants glory from us because it is the best thing for us. It's where we find joy and peace and contentment, and he knows that. And so he's jealous for us because he knows that is where we belong, and that's the best thing for us. The best corollary to this is from a parenting example, right? Or from some relationship where you know somebody is stuck in something that is wrong and is bad for them. You're jealous for their affections. Like, you want them to come back to you as a parent. You want them to get rid of this thing that is destroying their life. And in the same way, God is jealous for us. And so it's really trying to communicate his love for us. Now, there is a corollary to this, and I kind of alluded to it, in that it's okay for God to be about his glory, and it's not okay for us to be about our glory, right? And so there's once again, there's this difference between the creature and the creator, right? So for God to be about somebody else's glory is to say that he esteems somebody or something higher than himself, which doesn't exist. For us to be about our own glory is to say that we esteem ourselves higher than anybody else, which is rebellion to God. And so you see, the difference is really when we talk about God as holy. He's set apart. He's altogether different from us. And that is why when we say that God is a jealous God, it's a beautiful picture of his love for us. And it's a horrible picture of our coveting and our rebellion towards God. And that's why God can be jealous, and we ought not to be.